All right, welcome back, everyone. You might be wondering, how do I go from zero to not hero, but not zero as well? And the point of this video is to basically tell you guys how to get started as in your game dev career. Um, I think this video has been long overdue, so I want to kind of talk about these steps to kind of go from zero to not quite hero, but you're getting started. You're putting your foot into the door. So um, let's start. So the first question you have to ask is, what is a game engine? Well, a game engine is essentially an engine that allows you, or it's a software engine that allows you to create games on it much simpler. If you've ever tried making a game without an engine, it's very interesting. You have to code everything from scratch. You have to code all the essentials that the engine already has. So the first thing you might want to do is look into different game engines. My channel specifically talks a lot about Godot. Godot is one of my favorite 2D game engines. I really like Godot in the sense that it's 2D, honestly, in my opinion, is probably the best game engine out there. Um, Maybe it's quite as just as good as Game Maker 2.0. But Game Maker is not free. Godot is free. It is also open source, which is awesome. It's always evolving. Godot 4.0 is coming out soon. It's in beta, so you can download that and check it out. So that is something you might want to research on your own, but that is the basic concept of it. All right, and number two is to learn coding. Um, this is very essential to when you want to start game dev. You can't start game dev without knowing the basics. So this is just the basics. So the if statements, for loops, while loops, and the basics of variables. So we have in variables, we have strings, integers, arrays. Arrays also count as a variable. All those things. Dictionary is also in there. Dictionary and array you might not have to do specifically, but integers and strings definitely know what those are. In your coding journey, you will come across math. Math is somewhat important, especially when it comes to game design. In game design, there is quite a bit of math and physics, especially if you want to do something like platform games or specifically platform games. There's a lot of physics in it. And you might be asking, okay, what about databases or classes, right? Maybe you've taken a comp sci class in university, or you've heard about a database, or you've heard about classes. Classes don't persist in every language, but they are kind of a wide knowledge that most people know about. But it's very common in Java, and classes do exist in Godot. So you can know about them, but I would say for your first month, just learn the basics. So if, for loops, while loops, variables, all that stuff. That will allow you to get started programming. The rest, databases, all that stuff, forget about it. It doesn't help right now. It will help later on in your career, which is so if you know it already, that's awesome. If you don't, that's okay. You can get started right now and just jump into the deep pool. All right, and number three, this says learn about the tools of Godot. If you're using a different engine like Unity or Unreal Engine, whatever you decide to choose, learn about the tools of that game engine. Every game engine has a very wide number of tools that you can use, and each tool allows you to use and helps you in your game dev career a lot. So Godot has a built-in physics system. A lot of game engines actually have a built-in physics system. This allows us to create a platformer without having to create gravity. Gravity sucks. I don't want to create that. It technically is easy to create, but the complexity of it becomes very complex, and Godot allows us to just put it in, and it's easy. A lot of game engines do this. Same thing for like Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine has a lot of really good tools for 3D stuff. So really look into the tools. I will say for Godot, because I know about Godot, Godot, the best tool that can help you learn about the tools of Godot is their documents. Every engine will have a document like site where it'll have all the functions, all the like tools of that game engine. So Godot docs, I think .org is for Godot. I'm pretty sure every game engine should have one. If they don't, it's not a good game engine in my opinion. But learn about those. So go find their documents and go through it. You don't have to like go through each function, but kind of look at it and kind of understand how to read it, I guess. All right. And Next one is to learn about the different game types, and this is important because how you have to choose a game to make, right? Which one are you going to make? There's RPGs, RTSs, turn-based RPG, sandbox maybe, or maybe even FPS. FPS is usually 3D, but the rest you can do in 2D, right? Learn about these different game types. If you're not a big gamer, that's okay. You can still learn about this and the concept of them. Like personally, I don't play that many RTS games, but I recently just made an RTS series. It might not be the best, but it's still an RTS series in a sense, right? So learn about them, do them, and that's how you kind of get started into it. And this is my last piece of advice. This might be, some people might disagree with this, but the reality is you are going to start a project and dump it. So my advice is to start creating a small project and then dump it. Create a small project with the intention to dump it later on, because in you might, as a young inspired person, as myself and most game devs, especially experienced game devs, even more experienced game devs than me, we've all been there where we're like, okay, I'm gonna make an open world RPG game and it's gonna be the best game in the history, and I'm going to get millions and millions of dollars. But the reality is you're gonna start a project and you're gonna dump it after like a week or two. So I would recommend start creating a small project and just with the intention of dumping it. The reason you're doing this is just for experience. That is it. You just want to get the experience of coding things and seeing how things work in your, one, in that engine, and two, in the concept of the game design world as well, because you will gain experience in the engine, but you will also gain experience in the actual game dev industry. And that is it. That is all my advice for starting, going from zero to not hero yet, but you're no longer zero. So get started on these. These are my tips for a completely new game dev, someone who wants to get started but doesn't know how. So I guess it's like a step by step guide, I guess you can say. But yeah, that is it. I hope you use this. I hope it helps for anyone out there who wants to get started. Um, if you want to learn about Godot, subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I can help you learn some Godot stuff. I would recommend my RPG series. That is a pretty cool series I just did a few months ago. So definitely check that out. Otherwise, I wish you luck. I hope you guys can find some other channels in whatever game engine you decide to use. Or who knows, maybe you'll start your own game dev or game engine, which is very difficult, but I know some people do it. But good luck. I wish you the best of luck, or I hope to see you guys stick around my channel.